I get very overwhelmed very easily. I don't like feeling trapped at all. It's a lot more difficult when you need to constantly be calming down overstimulation, either preparing for it, dealing with it when it happens, or needing to leave.
Sensory overload, defined by an intense reaction to stimuli, is recognized for its impact on cognitive and emotional processes. For neurodivergent individuals such as those with autistic spectrum condition, or ASC, affecting 700,000 people in the UK, the sensory world can be overwhelming. While guidelines for architects were released in late 2022 to help better design for the mind, research shows the built environment that the majority can navigate with ease is yet to be more inclusive to reduce sensory overload experienced by some autistic people. And this difference in sensory processing compared to neurotypicals is most easily understood through this analogy.
It's a bit like a Mac and a PC, and they use different operating systems, and they can do most of the stuff that each other can do, but they tend to have positive aspects and maybe ones that are trickier as well. The experience of somebody who has been diagnosed with ASC would be very different from someone else, and there are people who are non-verbal, but there are equally people who are very, very high achieving and high functioning, but they see the world in a different way. They experience the world in a different way.
Understanding the struggles of someone with ASC explains why inclusivity in design is becoming a focal point, and shows just how diverse one condition can be.
In terms of being autistic, I've been pretty much everywhere on the spectrum at different times. So I've been previously non-verbal, evidently not anymore. I've been in a lot of different higher and lower need, and have, I guess, been through a lot. My main issue, I would say, with buildings is lighting, definitely. I really don't like synthetic lighting, and I used to wear sunglasses out a lot with that, but I had a lot of issues socially with people sort of thinking that that was avoidant of socialising. And I'm quite sociable. I like being welcoming, and I didn't like how people viewed me when I was in sunglasses, so I had to sort of build up to not using that anymore. If there's sort of smaller doorways and lots of people stream through at once, I tend to just stand there for like 20 minutes waiting for there to be a gap, because I don't like being closed in, especially in between other people. So I really struggle to communicate in that situation. I'd say it's definitely quite difficult to sort of try and determinedly just cope, and it's difficult to express to people that you're not coping as well. I always have my bag with me, and it has everything that you can imagine. It's like Mary Poppins' bag where you just start pulling everything out. I have a sort of a pencil case that's full of things to play with, and I have noise-cancelling headphones that I can wear if it's a space that's loud. I do understand that obviously everything can't be catered to specific things, but I think that it definitely needs to change, because it is very unfair objectively, I'd say, yeah.
Alice's story illustrates a call for change. Although the PASS 6463 Design for the Mind guideline outlines issues Alice and other neurodivergent people may face, is it truly making a difference?
So it's not yet fully a British standard. A PASS is kind of like a potential prelude to a standard. We wanted at least to make sure that there was it raised a conversation and discussion around the subject of neurodiversity. It was also set up as a guide rather than a code of practice. If one's not careful, we can get so focused on the letter of something rather than what one's seeking to try and achieve overall.
So, if the PASS guideline simply acts to inform design, do architects take it on board and translate it into practice? The UK's leading architecture firm addresses their approach to inclusive design.
In the way that we embrace inclusive design is that it's much more about people. And when we talk about people, we talk about experience of spaces. And then when we talk about the experience of space, that's when we start to create and design integrated places and spaces that function for everyone as a whole, and doesn't become this add-on, bolt-on extra, which I think we're seeing quite a lot in the built environment.
As the practice has shaped people-centred design since the 1970s, how is the new PASS now impacting their work?
It's given architects a toolkit and sort of the knowledge to embrace neurodiversity in our buildings. I'm hopeful, and I can see it in practice now, that we are listening and taking on these elements and designs. And I think one key message that's come out of it is this message of choice, clarity and calm. And that's very clear.
With the choice aspect, yes, in an airport there's always going to be high sensory areas like security and passport control that you have to go through. But by providing a map ahead of time, it gives you that clarity and choice to plan your journey ahead of time.
Suzan expresses that the team are learning from the 3 Cs and are currently referring to the past to design a new airport in Poland. But other than creating new inclusive places, can architects retrofit pre-existing ones to improve more of the built environment?
You can always change the use of the rooms that are pre-existing and make sure that we're overlaying elements such as calm rooms, sensory rooms, access to natural light. Those are quite minimal interventions to pre-existing buildings that can very easily be achieved.
So there are opportunities for a more inclusive future, but Alice hopes for better understanding.
I've had a lot of interesting encounters in public with people who really don't understand. It's very rarely arrogance, it's pretty much always ignorance. So I think that there just needs to be more awareness in general.
A panel discussion at an architecture exhibition in London aimed to do exactly that.
You know, you can design a quiet room in a building and say we're neurodivergent friendly, but it's more than that. So I think there's still lots more learning to do, lots more understanding about experience, and lots more listening and chatting to neurodivergent people and how they experience space really, and how they can actually lead the design process.
Although buildings cannot be one size fits all, architects are being urged to co-produce with a well-considered design approach that refers to the guideline and goes beyond the blueprints.